everyone. We're here with Anthony from Resistor, Long Island based fucking heavy band. God, you guys put on a great show the other night.
Thank you so much.
So Resistor's still like relatively new, right?
Fairly new, like this red edition of it. Yeah, only a couple years old. So we've been right out the gate. We've been going pretty hard. You actually didn't even see us on full force though. We were missing our DJ for that tour.
Oh, that's what I thought, man. I was listening to some tracks and I'm like, hold on, they didn't have a DJ the other night.
Yeah, no, he unfortunately he wasn't able to make that tour because we've just been going hard. So, um, he's gonna be with us on the next one. So it's good to have him back.
Right on. So when did you guys start?
Technically, technically, it's this band with the name started in 2018. But I'm the only last person from that edition of the band. So I would say this band started 2020 if I had to say because it's a completely different band, completely overhaul. So
Y-
it's just only thing kept the name.
Right on. So you guys changed sound and everything, huh?
Everything like during the pandemic, it was actually like a big reset for everything, and kind of like instead of just doing really what everybody wanted to hear, I just said I want to do what I want to make, and
Yes.
like with the heavier influence with the turntables and you know, kind of more of my style of what I grew up listening to. So I was like, you know what, I'm not afraid to do this. Like let's just go forward and just see what happens. Because when we started with the turntables, it wasn't like a thing yet. Like I see a lot of bands are trying to like feed into their Slipknot side now, and it wasn't like when we started doing it. So I was like, well, when we come back in the first show, this can go very good or very bad. So let's see what happens. And luckily we're still here, so it didn't go too bad.
Well, that I think uh, for bands when they're authentic with their sound and they play shit they want to hear and they want to play, it it tends to it goes over a lot better with crowds and it really helps with the longevity, I think, because the musicians actually enjoy playing what they're fucking playing, you know?
Yeah. No, 100%. And it's cool with the group that we have. It's everyone listens to completely different things. So if you were in the van with us and depending on who's driving, it's a completely different genre of music between every single member. Like our guitar player is like super into like the Belmonts, pop punk type of stuff. The drummer is more consistent to like what we play with. He listens to like Boundaries and Dying Wish and stuff. Ian likes the Dance Gavin Dance, Screamo stuff.
Okay.
RCP like I don't think he listens to anything newer than 1980s. And me, I just have Slipknot and Limp Bizkit on repeat, like nonstop.
Okay.
So it's a completely different group of people. So like usually when that sound comes together, it's like we're always trying things that normally people really wouldn't do. So it's fun. It's a fun little way of meshing it all together.
Hell yeah, it is. So just touching on Slipknot real quick, what do you think about Eloy coming in and joining?
So I literally was just with my friend. So the reason why I was like a minute late because I saw that Sam Ash was going out of business, so we were trying to hope to catch some like
Oh yeah.
some good discounts when we got there, and everything was only like 5% off. So I was like, okay, never mind. Um, we literally just had this conversation. It's a weird one because he's you could tell from the two shows that I watched. I mean, this is just going and basing off his drumming. Way better drummer for Slipknot,
Hmm.
but Jay was like more of like a fan favorite, played into the lore, like old school math style, the antics and everything. So it's kind of like a weird to see like where it goes. I mean, I'll always be a fan of them regardless, but it's it's a weird one. But I love that band, so it's hard
Yeah.
for me to say anything bad about them. But they
Well,
did sound tight. That
dude,
300 cap show that was wild. That they
oh
sounded tight. And
yeah.
some of those, and I saw during People Equal Shit that fill that he was getting, it was just awesome, super tight.
Dude, I'm a huge Eloy fan. Like his time in Sepultura, like I feel like he is such a solid fucking drummer. And when they were like, "Oh, it could be any of these people," I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna be Eloy." Like
Yeah,
it's got to.
it had to be because his tightness was insane.
Yeah.
I saw he had like a bunch of covers that he did for Slipknot, like on his own YouTube page and everything. but he played great. The only thing I didn't like was his mask. The mask was a little weak,
Yeah.
but I know they do that like with the new guys. They kind of simplify them and they kind of grow into their own thing. Like you saw the same thing happen with Tortilla Man.
Hmm.
The mask he has now is so sick. The one with the devil horns and the no eyes.
Yeah.
That's killer. And then I saw Clown went back to the original German, but half of it with the zipper in the mouth. The fact that they're bringing back the zippers is like a big Slipknot staple.
Well, that's
You
such
know,
a like their uniforms on that last show is total throwback,
that was like straight. It was like straight like self-titled mixed with Iowa. It was like
Yeah.
perfect. The Corey's mask. Now that thing was awesome. It was way better than the "We Are Not Your Kind" one. I hated that mask. It looked like
That's
someone cut open a milk carton and just put it on his face.
yeah, it did. You're like, what the fuck are you thinking, dude?
Yeah, and he was telling me, it was like, "Oh, this is the scariest mask I ever worn." I was like, "Bro, nah, that ain't it."
That's- No, no, not at all. So, you guys, the last single you released, is that off a forthcoming album?
EP. It's
Okay.
we're trying to think of how we're gonna be releasing. So we kind of go as we go. Well, that's the beauty of it because we're not signed or tied down to anything, so we could just do it how we see pleased. So with the last one, we knew that we had a month-long tour. It was like a Midwest tour that went into a Canadian tour, that went into the tour that we met you on.
Hmm.
And we were like, all right, well, if we're gonna be gone for a month, might as well put the single out so we can have something with it. And in June, we're gonna be out with Filth. So we're gonna drop the next single right before that tour.
Right on.
So we just, we kind of go with the flow and see how it goes.
Yeah, good for you guys to be out there and hustling, right? Because I think a lot of bands, especially at this stage in their careers, 3, 4 years old, they're not trying to get out there and do as much as you guys are doing right now.
Yeah, trying to. It's like a weird game now. It's I know there's the internet realm and then there's the old school realm. Like even though we'll still be very present on Instagram, like after every show, like we'll be handing out flyers with QR codes and stuff, like
Hmm.
trying to take it to be more presentable, I guess, be there with the people and try to, make these connections and make friendships and, a little bit more authentic with that realm. Cause I feel like if you're more true to yourself and you're more open and want to be immersed in it, that's why we're out here. Cause, because we love what we do. So it's, I'm trying to mix the both the old and the new. Cause even in this band, we have like the young kids and then we have the old guys. And so now we're just smack in the middle trying to bring both worlds together.
Yeah, well, you really got to. I feel like you really have to today in order to be a successful band. You need to have that internet presidents. What the presence, and you also need to be out there grinding, like they did back in the 80s and 90s. Just go, 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 right? Because that's where you meet the fans. It's where your face is actually out there and they can meet you and they become really connected to you.
I mean, that's how we're here right now.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a nice little whirlwind of it. So I'm trying to learn as I go. Um, I learned to take up a lot of different mantles, like while being in this band. I went from just wanting to be a screamer, but now I'm a manager, a booking agent, a this, a that. And now I know how to do numbers and pay taxes and LLC and all that stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
just learning as I go because it all turned into when people don't give you those opportunities, you just make them yourselves. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever saw that meme from The Simpsons with the grandfather, where he goes to the bar, puts up the hat, goes around in a big circle, and puts the hat away and walks back out. It was kind of the story with us. Like nobody really wanted to help us get on tour, so I was like, "All right, well, I'm booking it." And then you'll get to the bigger realm, and they'll be like, "Oh, we only deal with booking agents." And then I turn around, and be like, "Hello, booking agent here. How's it going? Let's book these shows."
You got to.
Yeah.
That's again, right? Looking back at the old days, watching bands how they did it then, it was exactly that, right? Like they each member wore, 10 hats. So you're taking turns managing the merch table when you're out. Everyone's taking turns booking the tours and putting their connections together so they could actually make that shit happen. And it was like, oh, I talked to that guy already. They need a manager. Oh, the fucking bass player is going to call and yeah, this is the booking agent for, like you got to do what you got to do. And then you've got bands. Are you familiar with Hemorrhage out of California?
Oh, with the bus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple of bands doing that, which is super cool. Like you having a hard time getting booked, shit, pull up outside the venue and play. What are they going to say? Like call the cops? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like in the last tour that we just did with Southpaw and Surface, it was kind of like a milestone. So what I did is I created Raw Dog Productions, which is my booking agency, which I actually started helping other bands now get on the road that were, trying to start up, and I helped them and I booked their tours and stuff. It's funny because on the bottom of the flyer you see like TKO, which is like a pristine booking agency,
Mhm.
and right next to the logo is the Raw Dog logo. I was like, yes, get in there.
Every little bit, dude. And good for you for taking on some other bands and helping them do it because um, we all need help at some point, right?
Yeah, well, I'm like a firm believer. It's if everyone's rising to the occasion, someone's bound to do it, and then you rise everyone up with you. So
Yeah.
I try to build that little community, especially here on Long Island. It's that's another reason why I started the Raw Dog stuff, because it was, even just initially getting our own shows locally, like when we were smaller, and people wouldn't take chances on you, and you want to play with this band, 100 tickets, this and that. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna book my own shows. I'm gonna take all the bands that nobody wanted to give a chance to, and let's just put it on. And they've all been successful to this point. So, just trying to start a new precedent where you don't really need to feed into that type of stuff, and as long as you work hard and surround yourself and do the right thing, you'll grow together. Because I saw, especially on Long Island, I don't know how it is by you. Like you're Kentucky, right, or
Yeah.
Indiana? Kentucky.
Kentucky. Yeah.
I'm not sure how it is over there, but on Long Island, it's like kind of a competition with everyone I see.
Mm.
So instead of like making it that competition, it's just like, hey, let's all work together and make some cool stuff happen.
That's
So I've been seeing it like a little by little, like the bands here have started to get the mentality, which is great to see. And the shows are getting better. Like a local show that has no business selling out venues is selling out venues, which is awesome to see. So it's just see that the community is growing with it, the bands are growing with it. It's just takes a lot of work, but it's getting there.
It is, dude. And like here, I feel like the bands here, for the most part, all support each other, right? So if there's a band playing, everyone's trying to go out and support them and hang out. And then when the next band plays, everyone's going to check that out. And it really helps obviously the attendance. And I don't know if you guys do it, but we're starting to do a lot more all ages shows in places where there weren't all ages shows before. So the attendance is like doubling and tripling. And it's a buddy of mine's band, God, probably 5 or 6 months ago, they did a split 7 inch with another band and did a release show. Dude, 30 minutes after doors, that show was sold out. They were turning people away.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
I'm like, I'd
Yeah,
love to see that.
the Surface guys were telling me, like in Louisville itself, like in that area, it's
Mhm.
they were starting to do more old age stuff, and the shows have been popping off.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just fantastic, and there's a lot of venues. Uh, so I think Louisville's kind of the weird place. It kind of always has been, right? We're like in the Midwest, and like I grew up in Detroit, lived in St. Louis, right? Kind of Nashville, kind of been, a little bit everywhere. And here, um, it's a lot more DIY mentality where like they'll call a venue and book the show themselves, and they'll get the bands and do all the promotion. And it's for a long time it was a struggle, right? And over, I don't know, maybe the last 10 years, see everyone, even, across the musical genres are coming and supporting each other, right? Metalheads at punk shows and punk kids at the metal shows and
That's when
just
it thrives. I feel like when everyone comes together is when the scene thrives, and I've seen that time and time again with like many different scenes. And it's when it starts getting closed, that's when everything starts to fall apart.
yeah,
So like it's good to see like the mixed genre shows where it's like you have a hardcore band, a metal band, this and that, like an indie band, and everyone's enjoying from beginning to end. Like for instance, like the show that we played at Wrong Side. I mean, it was primarily a hardcore show, and then you had us in the middle, but
yeah,
everyone came back in, and we were like in the back, like staring, like everyone came up forward, and was enjoying themselves and having a good time with us. And you know, like you could see that's when the scene is thriving. And you could just see it. It starts with the people, the bands, and the community around it. So it's good to see there, especially how it's growing. For me, I want to get back there real quick.
Yeah. Well, dude, we've really got a lot of venues here to choose from, right? Obviously Wrong Side, then Magbar does a lot of shows. Um, so I haven't seen any all ages shows at Wrong Side, but Magbar's doing all ages, and then Portal is a little bigger venue. I think those I'd say are like 1 or 200 people, and then Portal's three or 400. And then headliners is more like 6 or 700, and just a lot of little pockets of places, you know.
So there's a different spot for every size of band.
Yeah,
That's awesome to say.
it's fucking fantastic. And the bad thing is almost everyone goes all the way around us. I'm like, no, come through. Like we have something to support you, you know.
I think that's what where if people don't know, they don't show up. You know, and
Yeah.
so sometimes like I'm just saying this from experience from booking the shows. The whole Kentucky, Indiana area is very hard to get into. Like from an outsider point of view.
Oh, really?
That was our first time playing Kentucky. I've sent maybe at least 30 different emails trying to play Kentucky.
Okay.
And that was the first time. And that was because Surface was there and they're from there.
Yeah.
So it's a little hard. Like the Indiana, Kentucky, because I think in Kentucky we tried Lexington, tried Evansville, Indiana, Indianapolis, Louisville a couple times. Yeah, it was a lot of strikeouts, but that's part of it. Then you once you get that door open, and then you make those contacts and you come back.
Yeah. All you do is start hammering those contacts,
And then
you know.
even if the hammer doesn't work, you kick it down.
That's exactly it. Well, next time if you guys are coming through again, you want a venue, let me know, dude. We'll figure something out and get you in.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. I like going to shows, so anytime I can help a band get a show, it just gives me a reason to go to a show.
And we'll have our DJ with us that time too. He brings a whole nother element. We were missing it. We were missing him so much on this tour. Like I think every single show, the question came up at least 3 or 4 times. Where's your DJ? I'm like, I'm just as cool. He's not the
Yeah.
only cool one.
Yeah, but so if you would have had the DJ, obviously it would have been completely different from every other band on that bill.
Yeah, it's true.
I
And he's
mean,
a monster. RC's
yeah.
a monster on the tables. I don't know. We posted up a couple videos the past couple of days. If you check it out after we're done with this, like you'll see he's a monster. And it's fun watching him play and record with him and play on stage with him. He's a good dude. He's
Yeah,
probably like
that's
one of the best dudes in the world.
right on. That's cool as shit. So here's my next question. With you guys releasing this EP, are you doing physical copies of it?
Hope so. I hope so. They're expensive. That's the
Yeah.
one part of that things about doing DIY because I feel like this record deserves it. We recorded with Randy LaBeouf for this one. He did like Dying Wish, Counterparts, Kubakan. We lived with him for a month in last August recording this and like dug in there and it was so much of a learning experience. So my goal is to have it out. If I have my way, at least on CD, cassette, and vinyl. But we'll see. I have to start pulling the trigger on some of those too because we just had to do a merch pre-order and we have basketball jerseys coming in and we're getting fingerboards made. So I'm
Oh
trying to
shit.
think. Yeah, so I'm trying to think the next bill assignments for those.
Yeah, that I'm a big vinyl guy. And I always ask about physical copies because when I see a band and I like a band, I want to make sure I can buy a record and go, "Yep, I saw this band. They were fucking cool." Or, do posters and set lists and shit like
So now you being a vinyl guy, I gotta ask this. So are 7 inches as popular or no?
I've got a shit ton of them. Um, I I like them because I like it for a band because for someone that just wants to support a band, it's a lower cost threshold
Yeah.
and you can potentially make, a pretty good profit on them.
Yeah, that's what I gotta look because I've been asking some people because this is a 4 song EP,
Hmm.
and a lot of people are saying they don't really touch things unless it's a 12 inch. So maybe it's a one sided with a picture on the back type of thing, or 7 inch. I don't know.
How
I gotta
how many
figure that
minutes is it?
out. Maybe under 20.
Okay, so if you're pushing,
Maybe
I th
15.
I think on the high side for a 7 inch, you're going to be like 12 minutes maybe. So like at 15 or 20 minutes, you're going to probably look at doing like a 10 inch.
Yeah, I like 10 inches. Those are cool.
Yeah. It's that in between. And again, right? Like doesn't cost as much as the 12 inch. Um, when we get out of here, I'll send you I'll send you someone who will press 7, 10s, and 12s.
Oh,
They've
that's
got
awesome.
they've got good prices, and you don't have to do like 1,000, 2,000 quantity either. So that barrier to for you guys to get in and make it happen is super
No, that'd be
easy.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure.
That's always like half the battle is the research of trying to find like where to get it made and who are the right people to do it with. Like
Yeah.
that's with anything like merchandising and everything. It's like half the battle is like all the hours of research trying to find the right person to get the job done.
Yeah, and you're like, shit, I probably should have just hired someone to do this by the time you get done with cost and everything,
Yeah.
you know? Like shit. It takes a lot of time, and that's, these conversations I think help a lot of people because it's right. Oh, I got someone that can do that. Oh, well shit. Yeah, I'll do that.
Well, now I got my plug. Let's go.
Yeah, for sure.
So now, if it works out, then yeah, well, I'll make sure to send you one.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, so a buddy of mine's got a label here, and this place does really quick turnaround. I think it took them 4 or 5 weeks to get the test pressing from the time they got the masters, and then 8 to 12 weeks, I think, post test approval until that stuff hits his door.
Oh wow, so that's not even that bad.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's awesome.
Last year, everyone was like, oh, we're 12, 14, 16, 18 months out. And you're like,
Who's the artist that put everyone back? It wasn't Adele or something like that.
Taylor Swift, I think.
It was Taylor Swift. It was one of them that
Yeah.
they like pushed everyone's stuff behind, and then no one even bought that record
Yeah.
anyway. That was pretty funny.
Well, and that's I think Metallica went and they bought their own pressing plant and they were like, this is ours. We're not even, we don't have to worry about anyone else. You're just pressing our stuff now.
One day.
Yeah, how crazy is that? Like, oh, we just
No,
bought our pressing plant. Shit.
yeah, no, that's awesome.
So
That's like some G status right there.
for sure, and people can hate on them all they want, but they grinded their asses off to get where they are, and like, good for them.
The only thing with them, I think they need to bring back that Saint Anger stand. That thing ruled.
We'll call Lars and be like, hey, dude, bring out the garbage can. Let's do it. It's so funny though, because you listen to them and like every album, you can tell like what era it is, the real unique sounds and everything.
Yeah, no, that they'll forever be a timeless band.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, for me, the timeless band will always be Slipknot. That the go full circle. That's mine. Slipknot and Limp Bizkit. They can't do no wrong.
So we're Slipknot and Limp Bizkit for you, like the catalyst to say, "Ooh, I want to play music."
Yeah, yeah. Slipknot was that. It was actually kind of funny. I remember I went to my first concert ever was Ozfest 2001, and I literally went to go see Slipknot. My uncle brought me, and I actually had a jumpsuit made. I remember I made a Chris Fenn mask with a nose and everything. Like we actually cut up like a top of like a bucket hat, like a white bucket hat, and put a zipper in it, and like rolled up with electrical tape for the nose and everything. It was terrible, but we got the job done. But I remember I went with my uncle, and he was straight up like, "Better not crowd surf for nothing." And I'm like a kid, and not even 2 minutes later into Mudvayne, I'm like up in the air. I'm just
Like, see ya.
I was like, "See ya, I'm out of here." Crowd surfing away.
That's
Then from there, it's just it was them, Lincoln Park, all those new metal acts. That's literally what I grew up with. My biggest one actually was Il Nino.
okay.
That was my biggest one because I'm like a weird mix. So where I grew up on Long Island, I was like one of three Hispanic kids, and when you go up there and you see in El Nino that they're all Hispanic, I'm like, holy shit, they can rock just as hard as everyone else, and it kind of gave you that sense of pride. Like right now, I even have the Ecuadorian flag on my beard,
Yeah.
and it gave you that pride to be proud of where you're from and your heritage, like always.
Well, that's
But
cool.
no,
It's cool you had someone to look up to like that,
yeah,
right?
that would be a dream tour for me. If I can go on tour with whatever's remaining of Il Nino or Lions at the Gate or one of those guys, that would be like a full circle moment for me.
Well, I mean, you do have a booking agency now, so
Yeah. I'll have my people hit up their people.
that's
I like
it,
the
man.
email like, "Hey Christian, please, I love you, man."
I don't want to fanboy too much, but come here. That's
But no,
funny.
that'd be awesome though. That's pretty much what I grew up with and my inspirations. But that just shows my age is showing now.
Yeah, you're still young though. Like my, so
Mm.
I'll tell you about age. My first concert was Michael Jackson on the Thriller tour.
Oh Jesus, I don't even think I was born yet.
Yeah, yeah. It was like 1983 or 1984.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't born yet.
Yeah,
I was a sparkle in my father's eye.
yeah. I'm old. Uh,
Oh, you want to feel older? Guess how old my guitar player is?
no, I don't need to know.
23.
Oh God, my son is. Hold on, I gotta think. He'll be 20 in like 3 weeks.
We're getting old.
Yeah. My daughter will be 18 this year, and I'm like, oh my God.
Oh
And
Jesus,
yeah, like shit. And it's
time
so
flies.
so
You
my
wouldn't look like you. You don't look like you have a 20-year-old and an 18-year-old.
it's because all the drinking I used to do. Now, I it really I think I try to live a pretty stress-free life, although it's pretty stressful right now. But
I'm the opposite. I'm in a band, so my bands are showing.
yeah, I did it. I did the band and record label and all of that shit. And I'm uh hmm, no, I'd rather just talk. This shit's a lot it's a lot less stressful. Uh so what is the favorite concert that like best concert you ever been to?
That I ever been to or played?
Let's do one of each.
Best concert I've ever been to. That's a toughie one. There's so many good ones. I think the best one, like the most fun I ever had, was seeing Linkin Park on the Project Revolution tour, at NASA Coliseum in Long Island when I was a kid. It was like the first time I went to a concert by myself. And I went with my friends, and it was like the whole floor, and I just went absolute bonkers the whole time. That was probably one of my favorite ones.
Right on.
And probably the best one I've ever played. It could be a dream because it was so long ago. I used to be in a different touring band like back in the day before I came back and started playing music again. I remember there was this one show in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, and it was like one of the rowdiest, craziest shows that I've ever played in my life. It was in the middle of a cornfield. It was like a VFW hall,
Yeah.
and I thought it was like out of the movie Twister, but the place was packed wall from wall. It was probably one of the coolest shows I've ever played.
They had nothing else to do.
Nothing else to do.
They're like, it's a show. I think that's got some friends that did some European tours, which same thing. They're like, we pull up to this little town in like Slovenia or something, right? And it population of like 300, and they pull up to this barn that they're playing in. And it's like, oh, this is gonna suck. And they get unloaded and get out on stage, and the whole town is there bursting out the walls. Like those are some of the best shows, I think.
Yeah, those are pretty cool ones. Because we had one like that in Puerto Rico, where I was like, they have this weird rule where the show starts when the people show up. So I remember, and it's super late. I remember it was like 11:30 and no one's there. And I'm like, God damn it, this sucks. We just flew all the way to Puerto Rico, no one's here. And then all of a sudden, like a swarm of like 200 people just came crawling in. I'm like, holy shit, that just drastically changed like from night and day in 2 seconds.
Right on.
That was a fun one. And we're actually going back to Puerto Rico in September. We'll be there.
Starting to see a lot more bands go and hit up Puerto Rico now.
It's awesome. You know what it is? It's an easy trip. It's you can make a weekend out of it because you only play one show. It's in San Juan, so you go there, you play the show on the Saturday, you have the Friday and Sunday to relax with your friends, and come right back home, and then get back in the van. So
Hell yeah.
it's a week and a half of the van
Like we're going to Puerto Rico
to play.
international tour. So
It's
what
like
band?
Canada too.
Oh yeah, for sure. But you guys are super close to Canada.
It's still like 7, 8 hours away from here.
Is it that far?
Yeah, because you have to go all the way up. So like New York is ginormous. Like from
Yeah.
here to Buffalo is like 7.5 hours.
Oh shit, I didn't think it was
Yeah,
that bad.
it's far. It's
Wow.
deep. Yeah, New York's huge. No one ever realizes how big New York really is.
Right. Yeah, no, I didn't. Like I because I grew up in Detroit and I'm thinking, for me, even if we didn't cross into Canada at Detroit and we went all the way up, you're like 4 or 5 hours to the other end of the state.
Yeah, it's not as bad. Like New York, like where we are, it's like that little nook where Long Island meets like Manhattan and the actual state. And then you have this ginormous state like that goes all the way up to like almost Maine. So it's pretty big.
Like
Yeah, it's pretty much that. It's like if you go all the way up, I think right above the tip of New York is Plattsburgh, and right above that is Montreal, and Plattsburgh is about 7.5 hours away from here.
okay.
So it's,
Wow.
it's it's pretty far.
Yeah, man, I did not realize that at all. Yeah, whatever. I don't
It
make
was
that
funny
drive.
when we were doing the Southpaw tour because the first half. I remember Alan hit me up and was like, "Yeah, you guys probably have a draw in like Syracuse or something like that because you're told New York." I'm like, "Bro, that's 6 hours away from us. That's far." I mean, maybe a little less. Maybe it's like 5 hours, but still, it's pretty
It's
deep. I know Albany's 4
yeah,
from
it's not
here.
like right next door or anything.
No, it might as well just be from Virginia to South Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you'd be better off saying we're from Jersey, dude, like right across the
Yeah,
river.
pretty much. Jersey's like technically 45 minutes away, but to get there is 2.5 hours with all the traffic.
Yeah. Yeah, we went up when did we go up? I think Life of Agony did a reunion show and they were playing in Sayersburg or Sayersville or whatever at Starland, I think.
Oh, Solomon Ballroom. Okay.
Yeah, so we drove up for that and we got there was a restaurant in Jersey called Hell's Kitchen. And so we got a driver and we were like, "Hey, take us to Hell's Kitchen," thinking this is where we want to go. And the guy starts going to
Oh
New
no.
York and we're like, "Where are you going, dude?"
Yeah,
He's
the
like, "Oh,
area is called Hell's Kitchen. Yeah.
yeah." He goes, "Oh, I'm taking you to Hell's Kitchen." I'm like, "No, it's in Jersey. Like it's a restaurant." He goes, "Oh shit, I thought you wanted to go to New York." I'm like, "No,
Oh no.
it's
and
midnight,
then
dude.
and
We
then you
want
get
to."
stuck there in the traffic. That traffic never ends either, too.
Yeah, it's
Like for us, like
ridiculous.
leaving for tour, like we can't leave the say if we even if the show is like 6 hours away, we can't leave the morning of. We always have to leave the night before and always have to sleep in the van the first night because just to get out of New York is like a feat in itself.
Yeah,
It's wild, the traffic over here.
traffic is ridiculous. So, plans for the year. You've got tour with Filth coming up.
That's June, July, and then August we're taking off because it's too hot. I'm too fat. And then September we have Puerto Rico, and October we're working on that right now. So I'm hoping to do like a big loop, actually probably through you guys again, and hit up the Texas areas again.
Cool.
So that's generally the idea. So we're actually working on that right now. We're talking to a couple different bands, so hopefully it comes together sooner than later.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it will with the way you're keeping things. Looks like you're keep doing really well at keeping you guys booked out pretty good.
Yeah, try my best.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
learning as I go.
that's all you can do, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Um,
But yeah,
so,
no, we've been pretty busy this whole year. So since January, we're out all of January, March. We just got back from April, so now it's May. Then we're all back out in June, July. Yeah, so we're fairly busy.
yeah. I know big like touring bands that tour, you think they tour a lot more that aren't on the road as much as you guys are.
Try it. It's fun. I like being out there. I love that's. the main purpose of this thing. Like I love being on stage and I love playing and I love being out on the road with my friends. So as long as it keeps me happy and active, then I'm good to go.
Hell yeah. So how did the rest of the guys come to be in the band?
Uh, so Conti, the guitar player, during COVID, we both scootered. So we met at the skate park, and I said, "Hey, do you want to do this band with me?" And he goes, "Sure." And I'm like, "Well, how old are you? Because I can't be in a band with like a really really young kid." He goes, "Oh, I'm 21." I was like, "Okay, that's not too bad." To find out, he lied to me and he was 19. but here we are. So you can't go back on it. RC, I've known for a long, long time. We used to play in bands together, not in the same band, but um, our bands used to play together. He tried out for guitar, and he actually ended up doing a way better job as being the DJ. So he actually learned how to DJ to be in this band, and then end up being a really sick DJ. Uh, Peter, I stole from his old band. I scouted him out. He was supposed to be a fill-in, and he ended up being the full-time member. And Ian was our photographer. So when our old bass player couldn't tour anymore, Ian just picked up the mantle and came in.
Hell yeah.
So it all worked out.
Like easy transition.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to see someone, you're like, oh, come, try out for guitar and he picks up, learns how to be a DJ and gets out there with the.
So the funny thing is, his first show with us in in uh in actually hold on a second. I'm in the van and my girlfriend actually just pulled up next to me. I'm doing an interview and you keep calling me. I didn't see you come home. I was asking you want Dunkin'. Yeah, can I have Dunkin'? Well, I'll go back. I'm actually doing the interview for the band. This is my girlfriend. Everyone say hi to my girlfriend.
Hi.
He thought I died.
Shit.
I'm like sitting in front of Dunkin' Donuts. He kept calling me. But what was the question again? I'm sorry about that.
Oh shit. I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh, how did he end up on DJ?
Oh no, I,
So,
I said it was cool that he
oh,
ended
that he
up doing
came.
that.
So, oh, that's what I was gonna get at. His first show ever as a turntablist was in Boone, North Carolina. We just like threw him in the van. He came in, he did a couple wiki wikis, it sounded good. We threw him in the van and trial by fire. His first tour went all the way to Texas and back, so he got a lot of buckies out of it.
Hell yeah.
And then he's been with us ever since. So it all worked out.
It's kind of funny how a band's sound evolves, right? Sometimes they get someone and not even realizing, oh, this is like a missing chink in our chain.
Yeah, no, and he really is that for us. It sounds like I'm bloating him this whole time, but he really is. It's just his personality, his hard work. I tease him all the time because he has this thing with continuity and like the minor details, but it's like you go back and you realize like, oh shit, that really was important. Just the attention to detail with everything with him. It's actually what keeps us going. Like me, I have like 1,000 ideas running rampant at everything, and he's very good at honing those ideas in and putting it to a point where it makes sense. Like he's very secretive, like what he does with his turntables sometimes. And if you listen very closely at some of the stuff, the things that he's scratching is things that you wouldn't even ever think. So like the newest song that we have, I Am Nothing, if you listen very closely to the scratching, it's actually from the singing of a singer from a disco song from the late 70s. I couldn't tell you exactly what it was, but he showed it to me. It's like the song was like, "Let the music play." And like if
Uh
you hear it in the scratching, it's like "Da, da, 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 let the music play." And, like it's cool the things that he thinks of. And a lot of things that he scratches is like he'll be out in nature because he lives in Manhattan and he'll record things out in the air, like subway trains or this or that, people having interaction with each other, and he'll bring that into his turntables and use that as the scratching. So it's very smart, some of those things he does.
yeah,
So
that's cool. It's
it's a
cool you got someone
whole other
creative like that.
but he still is a pain in the ass, but I love
Yeah.
him.
What you've got to have that, right? Both sides.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's perfect because there's so many times I'm like texting him like, bro, like chill, and then I realize like, ah, it actually does make sense, but I don't want to admit that he was right.
It's like my wife. She's like, I'll never tell you you're right.
Well, it's like my girlfriend too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah,
So over the next year, what do you hope happens for the band?
make $1 million. Just to keep keep growing. See that trajectory, just my biggest thing is I love playing with people. I love meeting people, and as long as we get to keep doing that, I'm happy. And went from playing the back rooms of barns to like, the venues are getting bigger and it's cooler. There's more kids. It's a great feeling. Like when we went to Canada, there was people singing along to songs. I'm like, holy crap! I barely know the words, but you know the words, and it's a good feeling. And I love doing it. And I'm a big believer of there's no redos in this life. So as long as we get to do what we love to do and have a good time and bring a little bit of happiness and fun to people, that's all I really care about. So as long as we get to keep doing it, that's that's all I want.
I think that's awesome. I think the sound that you guys have, um, there seems to be, there's a little bit of that new metal element in there, and there's like a new metal resurgence going on right now. So I think it fits really well. And I like the sound. I think you guys are fucking great live. I had a
Thank you so much.
I had a really good time. Like I saw the name on the bill and didn't even dig in because I want to I'm that weirdo that I want to get a fresh look at the band without, you know, with a clean palette, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's always a good way to do it because sometimes, like, if you listen to it and then they don't bring it how it is on recordings, it could be like a buzzkill. But that's my main goal. Like, we work very hard on that. I like to try to be as not as loosey goosey, but also very tight and but also have fun with it live. So as long as people are having fun and bobbing their heads and kicking each other's asses to it, then I'm happy.
Then we're good. So what bands are you like listening to right now that you think other people should really go check out?
Slipknot and Limp Bizkit.
I think most
as
everyone's
as of other bands, I'm trying to think of like smaller bands that could be really good. Actually, there's a couple bands that I booked for that everyone should listen to. They're very good and they're trying to get their feet wet. One's called Senseless. They're from Long Island, New York as well. The other one's called Farsight from Long Island, New York as well. They're both under Raw Dog, so I've been booking for both of them. Um, awesome dudes. They're looking to tackle more and tour more. So hopefully everyone over here listens to them and they can get even further out and I can keep booking them too.
for sure. So are is there plan this year to get out and go tour?
Yeah, so actually right now I just finished finalizing their August. So they had I booked them for January. I booked them for March. They have one coming up with this band called Chokeout from Massachusetts. They're going out with them in May. It's about 4 days. Then I have them booked with I'm trying to remember my own tours. With June with a band called Obsolescence. They're gonna be going out down to like North Carolina and about over there with them. And then in August, no, 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 I messed it up. June they'll be out with a band called Destroy Create. They're gonna be going down to those areas, and then they'll be out with Obsolescence in August. So that's a lot of tours I've been booking.
Yeah, keeps you on your toes.
And then Census will be out in July. So they'll be out for in July. So trying to remember all of theirs, and then remember that's what I have computers with the notes and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a lot, to remember tours for three bands over the course of a year. That's a lot to put in your brain.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I enjoy doing this. The more that I submerge myself into this world, like I actually generally enjoy doing it. I enjoy watching them grow as well. It's fun watching them put out their music and watching them succeed in what they love doing. I generally believe in them too, and they work very, very hard. So, um, yeah. So the goal is to just keep growing the band, the Raw Dog. And it's kind of funny because I named it that because it's when you hear in the professional setting people are talking like, oh yeah, we're working with Raw Dog Productions. It's kind of funny. So, but it's
To-
spelled in the New York way. It's Rawdawg, so it's spelled like the New York way.
That's fucking hilarious.
So like I said, like that flash flyer with Southpaw where you see TKO and then Raw Dog right next to it. It's like the goal.
You now you got to get stickers so you can everywhere you go, raw dog.
Yeah. Keeping it raw.
Hell yeah. Keeping it raw, keeping your ears raw.
Yeah, so it's fun. I'm loving learning the that side of the business as well. So it's cool that you don't have to rely on others and you could just make things happen on your own. So
Yeah. Well, I wish more, honestly, I wish more people realize that, right? Because I think all too often bands they look at we want to get signed to this major label and let them push us and promote us and they end up signing away publishing and the majority of their sales and all this crazy shit and they're out there like signed to a major but they don't make any money and they end up breaking up. It's like, well, shit, if we're not making any money, why do we keep going? You know?
yeah, and a lot of times you get shelved. I mean, this is just learning from experience. Like, this is not trying to talk poorly on anything else, but it's just like we've tried the booking agencies route, and a lot of times they just you just sit and and it's understandable too because at an our level, you're not making them money, and we're not making money, so there's no reason to push it. So instead of sitting, I'm very impatient. I don't like to sit, and I also no one's ever going to believe in what you do more than yourself.
Right.
Um, and I believe in us. I believe in the bands that I work with. I believe in the people that surround us with. So it's just taking that belief and putting where your mouth where your money is, or money where your mouth is. Yeah, that's the slogan.
Yeah.
So it's just just making things happen and just working hard towards it. And it's tiring sometimes. Sometimes you get defeated, but for every 10 L's you take, you get one W, and that one W rules. So
That's it.
I'll take 100. I'll take 100 L's so I can get those 10 W's.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's because it's a essentially it's a sales game, right? You've got to get those no's so you can get those hell yeahs, you know?
Yeah, and when those hell yeahs come in, then they're nice. They're very nice.
Yeah.
Like for instance, like the show that we met, that was an awesome show, and
Nope.
like moments like that and those nights are what it's all about.
That's it. That's why I go to shows. Obviously I like seeing bands. I like connecting with people because I'm real big on mental health. I think the the human connection is something that COVID really showed us that we need more now more than ever, right? Like there's been, even leading up to COVID, there was a lot of mental health issues, but I think post COVID, we're seeing, mental health just take a swan dive off a cliff, you know?
Yeah, and that's why I like to do the music that we do too. Are you allowed to curse on this thing?
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right. So the best way I can explain us is we make fun fuck you music.
Yeah,
So there's nothing else besides it. If you read the lyrics, 90% of it is just fuck you, but it's fun and you know it's heavy music, but it's music that you can have fun with and smile. And as long as people are having a good time, and it takes away that the bullshit they had to deal with all day long, and have fun with it for the 15 minutes that we're out there before I get winded.
yeah.
It's that's all that matters.
Well, that's it, right? That's where I think why people go to shows is because they're there for the band and nothing in the outside world fucking matters,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And that's why we like to do what we do. It's just you know life's too short. Life's really too short,
Hell yeah, it is.
and like I make this little joke going like to my girlfriend. I was like, "Oh, you should be nice to me because one day I might get hit by a bus." Well, we were in Pittsburgh. I almost did get hit by a bus, so I'm living by that rule. So
Oh shit.
it's I walked out of the trailer and I didn't realize it was on the main street, and I turned around and the bus went right, like literally hit my fanny pack in front of me. I was like,
Oh.
"Oh shit!" But
So my wife, she's like, you should go get checked out. You might have cancer. I'm like, well, listen, if I got cancer, I'm gonna die anyway, whatever. And it's not like I'm not like lung cancer or anything. Well, Friday, my dog, I threw my dog in the back. I was taking contacts to my daughter for her musical. It's like a 5-minute ride. Put the dog in the back, car pulls out in front of me, dog falls over, breaks her leg. I'm like, oh
oh
shit.
no,
Yeah, I'm like, oh shit. Okay, drop the contacts off, right to the vet we go. Vet's like, that shouldn't have broke the leg. So they x-ray and they're like, oh, there's something not right here. We don't know if it's might be cancer, right? And she gives us like worst case scenario. I'm like, well, okay, so what are you saying? She's like, it absolutely has to be amputated as soon as possible. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, this is our youngest dog. And I call my wife and I tell my wife, and she's like, this is why I tell you to go get checked out at the doctor. Like, see how we're dealing with the dog? I'm like, I know, but care for the dog. I'm gonna die anyway, so we'll get through it.
With the pets, it's a whole nother ballpark. Like it's like the weird thing. Like you don't watch movies, and people get like killed and everything in movies,
Mhm.
but as soon as you watch that dog die in John Wick, I can't watch that part. I gotta skip over that. There's something about the love of a pet, and you can't. You're gonna be there no matter what. I
That's
remember because I have 5 birds, and one of the birds got hurt, and I remember it's this tiny little parakeet, and I was like going ape shit, and from vet to vet to vet to figure out what's going on with him, to find out it was nothing. And then nothing will take him out. But
dude.
yeah, no, with the pets, it's the whole nother. It's I don't
Well,
know. I don't know how to
t
explain it.
they have a love for you that's unconditional, right? Like
Yeah,
I think most humans, they're most of the love you get from other humans, it's conditional, right? Like as long as you're still in whatever this circle is to them, you're good. But with an animal, it doesn't matter, right? We can look at um abused pets, right? And those abused pets love whoever beat the shit out of them, unfortunately for the entire time. Like it doesn't matter what you do, they will always protect you. So, of course I don't abuse my animals, but to sorry, phone is ringing. Uh to see them get hurt and they can't really talk. It's like, oh, like it ripped when she broke her leg, my heart was ripped out of my chest, and then when they said it had to get amputated, I was devastated.
at least she's still here,
Yeah.
and she has a long life ahead of her, and that's all that matters. There was a saying that I saw with a pet that kind of like gave me the feels. It was pet is your best friend for a certain period of time, but to them, you're their best friend for their entire life, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
And it's just,
that's exactly it, right? Like, so we don't know. I mean, I think what did they say? They said if it's osteosarcoma post amputation, she might have 6 or 9 months. Yeah. So we it's like, okay, so we think this is what it is. This is probably the timeline. What do we do? It's like, well, I'll pay for the amputation and take that other 6 or 9 months with her, you know?
you know, yeah, I'm so sorry.
Uh, yeah, I mean it's part of life. Shit, this went like down. I didn't mean for it
Yeah,
to
I
go
know.
down. Shit. Um,
It's funny that you brought this up because like I was literally thinking and going through this the other day with mine. It's so crazy what they could do to you. Like my girlfriend sends me videos of them like running around and taking their baths and everything like while I'm away, and that's like the only part that makes it hard to be gone on tour. My brother and my sister think they can go to hell. When it comes to my birds,
well, now you just got to get a big tour bus so you can take the birds with you.
no, they'll drive everyone crazy. Trust me. Like it's funny because as soon as I get home and I'm like ready to go back to like working from home, and they're screaming in my ear all day, I'm like, oh god, I want to go back on
Oh,
tour.
so I got a tour again. See ya. That's hilarious. No, it's the same way in our house because we've got 3 dogs and a cat, and it's the uh the 3 dogs. I they see a leaf blow. Like I'll do a lot of work from home, and they see a leaf blow, and all 3 of them are in the window right behind me, like, "Arr," and I'm like, shut up.
That's literally mine too. So I have one. I'll send you a picture later. I have this one tangerine. She was a rescue. So she was abandoned at the vet, and we took her in. So it was a lot of work to get her the trust and everything. But now she just won't leave me alone. So she'll go underneath my beard and she'll just like hang on here. But when she gets all riled up, she'll go in here and she'll scream, scream, scream. piercing noise, and she'll know when you're ignoring her. She'll get into your ear and scream. So she's like, "I'm here. Listen to me." I'm like, "God damn it! Like, leave me alone." But
Yeah,
that's part of it.
that's she
Yeah.
like sh she's been literally digging at my feet, chewing on my cord, and now we're like at the end. She's like, "Okay, I'll just lay down and chill now." I'm like, "Damn it, why couldn't you do this earlier?"
It's funny because I've done a couple of interviews before, and I can't do it in my house because they just go nuts. Like I have like Tiki, and she'll be like here, and she'll be like into the camera, like screaming, biting things. But as soon as I get off the phone and I'm not talking to anyone, they'll go back to normal and just don't
Yep.
care.
Yeah.
But as soon as you're on a call, they
Pay
want to be on
attention to
top
me.
of you and screaming and yelling, and yeah, that's them.
Yeah, that's literally mine too. It's as soon as you get on the phone, like one of them will sit at my feet and just start whining. And I'm like, you were just sleeping. Just go back to sleep.
Just
Like,
go
what do you
back to
want?
sleep.
What do you want? You want to go potty? You want water? Like food? What? And she just sits there and whines. And I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. All right. Anthony, I greatly appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. I love learning about the band. I can't wait to see you guys again. And I wish you guys all the success in the world, my friend.
Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you again.
Hell yeah, dude. Have a great night.
Have a good night.
See ya.